And this is where I have a real issue, or I guess a real concern. I want to bring in Urban Meyer, 3 national championships, Florida, Ohio State, 17 years. Okay, so I want to throw this at you. Miami can say, we beat Notre Dame head-to-head. We have 4 common opponents. We beat 3 of them worse than you. We have a better defense and a better passing game. And by the way, we scheduled an SEC team. We beat them too. Florida just unraveled. And when we beat Florida State, they were good. And you know this. Teams fluctuate based on injuries and momentum. I think Miami's got a real argument. After watching them hammer, which I thought was a solid team, Pitt, I'm sitting there looking on the internet and I'm like, I don't know. I think I'd have a real complaint. What do you make of Miami's argument over Notre Dame?
I wasn't able to watch it, but I'm like you. I did not expect that. I thought Pitt would be in a street fight with them, especially in the cold weather at home. And I have a lot of respect for Miami. They did not look like that early in the year. Carson Beck was throwing interception after interception. But I'm going to go back and watch it. I watched the highlights. So I agree. I think there's certainly a fight for Miami to get in there. And I don't know if it's time to go into this. I just, I mentioned this to you. I think the committee's got to go away. I don't, there's a way to get around this committee, and I'm not taking a shot at the committee. You have Chris Felica, you got the Bear, you got Mark Ingram, you got Matt Leinart, Brady Quinn, Urban Meyer. There's a bunch of national titles, Heisman's, a bunch of football guys. That's what they do. Chris Felica is unbelievable. What he watches, and we can't get it right. We are we're damn near in fistfights in that green room, getting ready to go on Big Noon because everybody's got, and we can't agree. So how in the world are athletic directors, conference committee, how are they coming up with who's going to be in the playoffs? So I'm a big believer in the 4-4-2-2-1-1 that was presented earlier about the committee goes away, the conferences take care of it, and that way, I want to add this. I know I'm talking a lot here. But how in the world, if I'm Ryan Day, I go talk to Ross, the AD at Ohio State, and I said, get that Texas game off our schedule next year. We're not playing it.
That's right.
Get me a good MAC school, because why would we play that game? Right now, if Chris Del Conte, CDC, and Sarkisian, there's a chance they're going to be left out of the playoff because they played Ohio State week 1. Why would you do that? So we're getting ready to, Colin, arguably the worst non-conference games in the history of college football, unless something's done where they make those games count and don't get penalized for it.
No, I mean, I think it's time to get rid of committees. I think you're right. Because when I'm watching them blow out Pitt, and I thought cold weather Pitt, good fist fight. No way. And I'm like, man, they're going to have an argument. I want to talk about, it's interesting. So Ohio State is favored, by 5-6 points against Indiana. I know who the better team is, but I'm thinking if I'm Ohio State, I just come out of this emotional peak with Michigan, and it's 2025. I don't care about Indiana. I don't care about that. I want to get healthy. I want to be healthy and ready for the playoff. Yeah, I think it's a huge disadvantage for Ohio State. I mean, I know they have better players. Do you think there'll be a letdown for the Buckeyes and they could get beat?
I don't think so. I think that was not a game where it went down to the last game. I was there, obviously. Ohio State handled them. I mean, they handled them. I made a comment before the game. You score 3 touchdowns, you win the game, because that's how good Ohio State's defense. And I think the Wolverine offense is not very good. I think someday they might be with this quarterback. They're certainly not now. I don't believe that. I believe that Coach Day, he's been very conscientious. They've had a relatively easy schedule coming up. Their quarterback has only thrown, going into the game, Colin, he's only thrown 25 passes in the fourth quarter. So this team is not spent. This team actually is they were on a pitch count pretty much all year. They huddle. They don't go fast. They're running 20 plays fewer per game than we did in 2018. On defense, going into the Wolverine game, they've played the fewest snaps of all the major schools in the country on defense. So this team is not spent. They're going to be healthy going this game.
Okay, so listen, college football schedule or its calendar is weird. So I don't love Lane Kiffin bailing on the players. He wanted to coach the team, but there's no way Ole Miss is going to let you have that job. That's ridiculous. But I mean, it's weird. Like, I always kind of fall into this. You hire Lane Kiffin, it's not because of charm school. I mean, he got fired on a tarmac. You know, Tennessee, they wanted to burn his house down. It's like, listen, I argue this, Urban, that Ole Miss has mostly been irrelevant outside of Eli and Arch Manning. That if you would have signed up for this, if I would have said to you, okay, Lane Kiffin's going to come to your program, you're going to have your best season ever. Everybody's talking about you. Number one offense in the country. He's going to bail you on you and tick you off at the end. Would you sign up for it? Though everybody everybody in the state would have signed up for it, right?
Of course they would have. And, you know, it's unprecedented. I actually was texting back and forth with Lane where they let me, when I left Utah and went to Florida, they let me come back and coach in the BCS bowl game. First time a non-BCS school made it. I met with the players. They were good enough to say, come on back. This is a whole different animal. He's going to an in-conference rival, and he's walked out on players that gave him everything they got. So I'm torn. I mean, I was saying he was going to stay for that reason. That you can't. Lane Kiffin's not going to make a decision for money. I don't know him that well, but I know him well enough. He's more competitive than he is worried about money. In his heart, he must have think it's going to be an easier path or a better path to win a national title. That's the only thing I can think of to be able to walk away. And I mean, I don't think he even met with the players. I heard the AD won't let him. They just went the best season in the history of Ole Miss. That team is prepared to go make a run deep into the playoffs, and he's gone. I mean, I had mixed when I saw that happen. My heart hurts for those players. And Colin, a bunch of coaches got on that plane.
I know. That's it. Listen, I said I've compared college football to Bitcoin. Don't buy it if you're not ready for an unregulated mess. Wild fluctuations. You love it one day, you hate it the next. You hire Lane Kiffin, it always ends bizarrely. And so, okay, so I didn't listen. Nothing against Texas A&M, but I looked at their schedule. They got a break. They didn't play Bama, Georgia, Ole Miss, or Oklahoma. So when you play Texas, you better win, and I don't care where the game's at. I watched them get into a hole against South Carolina. I thought they were a fun watch. I didn't think they were a special team. So now Texas, I would put Texas in. I would. What would you do at Texas?
Well, there's 6 teams right now on that darn bubble, and then you say Texas goes in, and Notre Dame's out. You know, it's going to be
they're playing a tougher conference.
I know. I've answered your question. I don't know. I think Texas deserves to be in the playoff, and I would not penalize that loss against Ohio State. You can't do that. You can't, or you're getting ready to see Old Dominion's going to become a favorite of all these big teams playing, or teams like that, because no one cares. No one's saying a word about Indiana's non-conference schedule. No one. Yet Texas made a decision to get on a plane and go play the number 1 team in the country or number 2 team in the country on the road. And they got beat in a tough game. And now there's a chance because of that, because if they didn't play that game, we wouldn't be having this conversation. Of course they'd be in.
Yeah, of course.
Of course they'd be in.
I'm with you. I think it's unfair. And the other thing is, it was on the road. We didn't know at the time Ohio State's the best defense in a decade. We didn't know that.
Right.
So I mean, we just didn't know. It's on the road. And the other thing is, they were breaking in 4 new offensive linemen. So it was, right. I mean, we were saying how good Ohio State was. We were like, we had a couple of Ohio State guys that we thought as freshmen and sophomores could start in the NFL right now. So I don't know. I'm with you on this. I think Miami's got a totally legitimate argument, and I think Texas may get hosed. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm worried about it. Let me leave you with this thought. And Jerry DiNardo from Big BTN gave it to me yesterday. It's one of the most profound things I ever heard. It's the only multi-billion-dollar business in the history of our country that's being run by volunteers. Think about that. You have a committee. They're all volunteers. And Jerry told me, Coach DiNardo told me stories where ADs would tell him that they would have like an intern come in and watch film because they're so busy, whatever jobs they have, and they would help. So you have volunteers that are getting interns to help them rank teams. Now, I'm not saying they'll do it. I don't know. This is what Jared DiNardo told me. The only business, multi-billion-dollar business, that you have a group of volunteers are making the decisions. I just think it's got to go away, and it's all play-in. Let the conferences handle it. It's a play-in business, and that way the best teams are in the conference, and they do it on the field or in the playoff.
Okay, well, you're going to be at that Ohio State-Indiana game.
You're right there.
Yeah, be a good game to go to. I'm actually busy that day, but I'll watch it on TV.
I stood next to two teams. Indiana, I love their coach. I love their quarterback. Mendoza's got to start playing better. He's had a couple of bad games. But Ohio State, man, that's one of those, I didn't see it. I didn't know it was going to be like that because they lost so many good players. That's one of those LSU-looking teams back like when I was at Florida. I mean, that is a great-looking team.
Yeah, they're big. They're big everywhere. Good seeing you, Coach.
Good to see you, Colin.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you enjoy that clip, make sure you click subscribe somewhere down here. From game highlights to exclusive interviews and rankings, we've got everything you need as a college football fan right here, College Football on Fox.